Hello, my name is Jennifer and welcome to my speed build / renovation of my Rags to Riches toddler family penthouse that they have just moved into at the end of part 15. And we are here. I'm adding some of the lights and some of the things that they already had from their family inventory, and then I realized it's kind of dark and they don't have enough lights, so I go into build mode to add a few extra lights so that I can see a bit better while I'm building. This is a favorite thing that I like to do when I'm building or renovating houses, is to make sure that there's some lights out before I start. And then I go back into their family inventory to start grabbing some of the things that we have, i.e. their beds. I tried not to spend too much when I was doing the renovation because I wasn't really sure what I would use from what they brought with them versus what they would need to buy in addition to it. And I just play around a little bit more to give the bathroom there a little bit more space and move where the elevator is, particularly because I really wanted to have the bathroom and we needed room for the potty chairs in that bathroom, so I thought it needed a little bit more room, and the other bathrooms were kind of big and didn't need quite as much space as they had originally been given. I figured I would borrow from them and give it to that one over there. And here I'm placing our not very comfortable and not very reliable toilet and sink, but I probably will at some point go in and change those into better ones, but I wasn't sure how much it was going to cost to buy what I did need to upgrade the place, including like making walls in different spots and stuff and whatnot, I should say. And I realized that these potties take a lot of room, so I ended up moving the toilet and the sink over a little bit more to put the 4 potties out there. And just trying to find room for the things I have in our family inventory. And at this point I've just started putting everything out. I don't really get rid of anything. And there, when I'm starting, I think about doing the kitchen, but then I went, I don't know what I want to do. So let's go put all these plants out so we have less things in our family inventory to worry about. Less clutter there once we get those out. And then I realized I need somewhere to put my garlic plants, and I didn't at that point want to buy any more planters, because sometimes I make the planters when they have the workbench, which of course she doesn't have. And I decided to sell those counters, because if I'm going to do the kitchen, I didn't want to get more of the not very nice counters. I was going to buy new counters to do the kitchen up front as opposed to later. That was a place where I thought it was good to have some more money. And I bought them a new fridge. So she has a new fridge, and I don't like where that column is. I decide that that's more balanced by moving it over. Even though the actual entranceway is a little bit off-center when you go into the entranceway, I want at least in the penthouse to look centered with respect to that. And then I go and get some counters. I often have auto counters off, but in this case I decided to leave it on, at least to start with. And then I think I maybe turn it back off again because I want to pick my counters that I want to use, my cupboards, or the shape of them as I'm going around here. I kind of go back and forth between the two. And I originally was going to start with some islands there, and you can see the one little island, but I go through and in the end decide to, which you will see, I decide just to make that, a lot of counters, and instead put a dining room table in the middle that they can use instead of having counters. So I cut out a lot of me thinking about and playing with the counters, and so you don't see that. There was really no point, because in the end I took it all out. And I'm adding some upper cabinets. I don't always use I use upper cabinets when I'm playing for my speed builds and whatnot, but when I actually play on my own, I don't always use them, or didn't used to, because I found that sometimes they get in the way. Plus they're expensive, but they definitely do look nice, so I did put them in here. And where do I go next? Oh, I think this is where I decide to go and pick my dining room table. And I grab, those are from the Parenthood pack, and the table and the chairs. And then I angle off a couple little chairs there, because the toddlers actually can sit at those chairs if they're not right up against the table. They can't sit at them if they're against the table, but they can sit at them if they're angled like that, which is kind of a fun touch, especially since I'm not a big fan of the high chairs. The advantage of high chairs is that it lets you get drinks and certain things for the toddlers, but I find that the Sims often autonomously go and put the toddlers in them when I don't want them to put them in them. and they waste some time. So I did not get a high chair, though since they're fully maxed with everything, they could have a high chair. But I don't really know how much longer they're going to need to be toddlers, because we'll have to see where we are in terms of our goal. It may be that it's pretty close to being able to age them up, because once we've reached the goals of the challenge, they could be aged up, and then maybe we'll just play a little bit more, since I kind of like this family a lot. We'll have to see. And I'm over here in Roxanne's bedroom trying to figure out where I'm going to put a closet, because I really like to have closets in their houses. I didn't bother with the toddlers. The toddlers can't use closets, so they didn't really need a closet. Like, they can't play in them or do really very much with them. And because there was that little nook there, because the closet stood out, I decided to put a dresser in the spot, which I think I kind of liked. I did do this slightly different than when I lived in this, had my Sims live in this place before, because I just wanted it to look a little bit different. It's still like the same basic penthouse, but changed a bit. And in the end I decided, you know what, she doesn't have time to be making pots and planters, so I just bought them for her and got the small ones put out there so that there's more room in the entranceway for Sims getting off the elevator instead of having this great big planter in the middle there. I thought it made a lot more sense. And I do end up only using the one bathroom. There is room for 3 bathrooms in this place, but that was one where I didn't want to spend a lot of money on the toilets, and I didn't want to get lower end toilets and then, you know, go up. I'd rather just get them once when I need them, and because she is our only Sim who actually really uses the bathroom, other than obviously the shower can be used by more than one. Her potties are there for the toddlers, and she's the only one who uses the toilet. And the toddlers can't use the bathtub without the mom. I decided not to. And here I'm adding everything that's in her personal inventory and putting it around in the house, the food in the fridge, the Wabbit tablets, the toys in the toy box, and the blocks, just everything that I had brought with me. And I had brought those things with me because I find if you move your things, even if you put them into your family inventory on your own, when you go to the other place, anything that was in the fridge or the bookcase or the toy boxes, they all disappear. So the only way you can transfer them over with you is to actually put them into your personal inventory. And I didn't really do much with the books because I decided that when I got here I was going to buy new books. Or a new bookcase, I should say, which will then essentially replace all the books. And here I moved the table and tried to play around with where I was going to put it, but when I put the chairs back, I didn't quite get it quite as comfy as it was before. So I'm going to have to try and change that when I go back to live mode next time, because I noticed that when I was watching the edited version that the chairs are a little bit closer before I move the table, so I should be able to move it. And obviously I'll need to also move the lamp because it's no longer over the table. And that's the new bookcase that I bought, and I decided to move the door all the way over because I didn't want the bookcase sort of snug up into the column there. I do have move objects on, so I was able to put it there, but I didn't really like the way it looked. And of course I added that bulletin board there, which is off to the side now. And I have seen lots of comments that people say that Sims are like constantly going to the bulletin board, which I hadn't really noticed, but I think that's because I have so many Sims in a lot of my houses that they fill it up so quickly and then there's nothing really to do. So we're ending here with some screenshots. There's our new kitchen. I actually meant to put in a hood over that stove. I'll have to do that off camera. And there's their table. A nice cute little outdoor area where Al and Vicki are playing with the dollhouse, trying to stop them from making messes. There's their living room, little living room space. So much more space in this place than where they were. It's very spacious. And there's their hall. There's the toddler's little room, which doesn't have very much in it, just the teddy bear and their beds and their night lights. And there's their bathroom, and I left the colors the same because it sort of to me was the theme of the place. And there is her bedroom, and we end with a shot of the back patio with the garden. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you next time. Bye! This has been Jennifer. If you have any comments or suggestions, please leave them below. I'd love to see them. If you liked the video, please leave a like. And if you'd like to see more videos of challenge, let's plays, tutorials, and occasional speed builds, please subscribe if you haven't already done so. Thanks very much!